Hello and welcome to No Rest for the Weekend. I'm Jason Godbey and we're back talking about some more streaming series. And once again, back with me on the Zoom, it's Jackie Hanzl. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore last time.
Yeah, it feels like you never left.
Yeah.
Funny that. But we have so many shows we couldn't contain it in one episode because we have too much time on our hands and we watch way too much
Yeah.
television. At least that's what they told me in the second grade. But I showed them. You
That's right.
know, I'm still watching too much television. All right, so we got some more shows to talk about, and one of them I think you're actually covering on your show, Homebodies Only,
That's
which you
right.
are representing with your fancy T-shirt today.
Yes. And just like that, season three, series done. Definitely a lot of hate watching went on with the with the series. Uh, I have my own feelings about the storyline, really for all three seasons, but we covered the fashion. We just stuck with the fashion for this one. Usually we do love, hate, I can relate, but the fashion, honestly, in a way, was sort of the best part of the series to me. And people were even hating on the fashion, but there's always interesting stories behind the fashion, and that's what I love. I can't, I mean, I really watched this series probably for nostalgia's sake, but it did feel like this past season we lost that nostalgia quite a bit. Carrie didn't seem to be herself, and people were getting upset about that. Finally, so there were 12 episodes. Finally, the ninth episode, episode nine, is when there was a shift, and it felt like Carrie was back. Had a little more of the Sex and the City vibe to it. People complained and said, well, how could it can't be the same show? I didn't expect it to be the same show. The women are almost, they're in their late 50s. Obviously, it's a different time in their lives. It just, there was some storylines in there that just were, uh, I don't know, some of it seemed unrealistic, uncharacteristic of the characters, also some corny jokes. And they took some themes a little bit to me over the top. But there is still something oddly comforting about watching these characters that I watched for so long before. So I would still say watch it, even if you didn't. It's the last time you're probably, I mean, unless they have a movie, I think it's the last time you're going to see them. Um, I don't know if you didn't watch Sex and the City, if you would, I don't think you would want to watch this. I hate to say that, but I wish I could say, oh yeah, you don't need, it. No. So I don't know how I would recommend it that way. But I just want to do a little plug for the TikTok, for our TikTok account. I've been doing fashion deep dives into and just like that. Look for less, is trying to find dupes, also just picking apart the outfits and say where they come from. And people are loving it. And it's different from what we have on, there's some I put on YouTube as well, but you should check it out because people are loving it. I've been helping people find things too. They're like, do you know where this is from? I'm like, let me find it for you.
Oddly enough, I was not a Sex and the City fan. I There are people I know who will remain nameless who will say that Sex and the City ruined New York. There are a lot of people who came to New York thinking that they could have a job writing for a magazine and
Oh,
exclusively going to gallery openings and wearing fashionable clothes and having lunch with
right.
their girlfriends that were shocked to find that that's not what
They
life is
couldn't
like
live
here.
there. Yeah, no, no.
I was like, I liked And Just Like That as a title because I suppose like menopause in the city was taken or like that didn't have as good a ring to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and in just like that, she has a just there's just an endless amount of money she has now. I mean, she did do some, she wrote some books and apparently had some bestsellers. But the money is really from her husband who had passed away. No, I moved into the city right. I moved into Brooklyn really kind of when the show started. And it's funny, Sex in the City. And I moved back up here where I am now when the series was ending. So it's kind of funny. she went to Paris. It was like the last season, but she ended up obviously coming back. But she was going to Paris and I was coming to Sorganies, New York. So I really felt the parallel. No, but like living in the city at the time when this was airing and everything, we were always like, this is unrealistic, like about the clothes that they had and yeah, what she lived off of. We were like, how much money does she make writing a column, you know? But I loved that show. I loved that show. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a certain generation's, like it was their thing, and people got really attached to it. There's
Hmm.
still some poor guy who lives in the brownstone that they used as the exterior of
Oh,
Carrie's
right.
house, and tourists routinely
Yep.
gather around it, and he has to
Yes.
say, "People live here. Please go away." Um, it's like the Ghostbusters firehouse, you know.
Right.
Speaking of HBO, we did some Netflix shows. Now we're talking HBO shows. Um, were you a Billy Joel fan?
Yes, was he my first? He was my first concert. Yeah. My first, yeah, real concert up in Albany. When I was in college, freshman year in college, and we did have floor seats. It's now called the Times Union Arena. He was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Big Billy Joel fan.
That's an awesome first concert. This is Billy Joel and So It Goes. It's a two-part documentary on HBO. Each part is about 2.5 hours long, so I wouldn't recommend watching it in one sitting. It's a lot of Billy Joel. Part one was actually the opening night feature of Tribeca this year. And I was going to catch it there, but it was on really early in the morning, and I didn't make it to the theater. I remember I had this conversation with this another critic that was there. I was for another screening, and he's like, "Oh, I saw the Billy Joel, and it's amazing, and I loved it. I've been obsessed with Billy Joel ever since I was a kid." And I just said to him, "Are you from Long Island, sir?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
am." So if you're from Long Island and you're of a certain age, this is right up your street. This is like the definitive documentary on Billy Joel. It really gets into things with Billy Joel, like it gets into his life. It gets into they don't go deep into certain things because this sort of rockumentary is very personal, but they need the artist to okay it. So you have to take it kind of with a grain of salt. Like they talk about the drinking, but they don't go like deep dive into the drinking. But they do interview his past wives. I believe he's on number 4 now. But they interview his first wife. They interview Christy Brinkley, who has a lot
Really.
of who still looks amazing, by the
Oh
way.
my
My
God.
like
You know,
I don't know what kind of Hollywood magic voodoo is going on there, but holy, she's radiant.
she's from Sandman, the show
She's
Sandman.
she's one of the endless.
She's one of those immortals. Yeah.
I think it's in part two they go through their part one is really about his early days, his life, his growing up and songwriting and all the early albums, which are incredible. You look at these albums like all killer, no filler, amazing songs. The guy is one of the most talented songwriters ever, and you learn some great things. I mean, I always knew that Billy Joel songs were somewhat autobiographical, like they had that
Mm.
feel to them.
Hmm.
You would not believe how autobiographical they are. There's lyrics he'll go over the lyrics and you'll be like, yeah, this happened. You know, I got this lyric from this, you know, I was inspired for this song by this. And it really does have like this feel of and for Gen X kids, if you're in our tribe, you see this stuff and you go, I remember that. I remember that. And I feel like they're doing a lot of these type rock docs and things now because these are boomer artists and they're all in their 70s and they want to, you know, they want to commemorate these people. I don't think I knew a ton about Billy Joel's life except what I saw in the paper and I really didn't pay attention. You know, like you'd see pictures of him and Christy Brinkley and
Hmm.
you know, now that I see it, I'm thinking, oh, what do you make a deal with the devil? Like, how did that happen? You know, like Jesus.
Yeah.
But like, one of the most surprising things that about the music that I could not believe is that critics didn't like it. Like Rolling Stone and rock critics were like, Billy Joel phones it in again. They were like horrible, like headlines, and you're just like, dude, do you even know what you're listening to? This guy captured a moment, man. Like and of course they talked about how these songs came to be, and it's all like his life and his music are so well intertwined that to talk about one is to talk about the other, and it's incredible. You hear the story of like how he came up with Piano Man.
That's what I wanted to ask. I feel like do they talk about that? Because I've heard different stories. Is he the piano man or is it about a guy?
Early in his career, he had this horrible, horrible guy sign him to a deal where he didn't make any money off of his records, and he sort of like waited it out, and he couldn't do anything without this guy making more money off of him than he was. So he had to take a job, and the job that he took was playing piano in a lounge where his wife at the time, I think, was waitressing. And she's the waitress who's practicing politics. I
Mm.
mean, like, there really was a guy named Davy who was still in the Navy. I mean, like, it was like when you, it's like it almost feels like the songs write themselves, but the guy is so talented that it seems like effortless.
Right.
Like he wrote New York State of Mind as he was coming in, like he those lyrics came to him as he was coming into New York on a bus trip. Like when you hear this stuff, like there's several songs about women.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean,
Uptown
like
Girl.
all of the all of these songs, like they interview his first wife, she's like, yeah, that's about me. Oh, that's about me. It's fascinating. The two caveats that I will give you is that it's a lot of Billy Joel. It's 5 hours, so I wouldn't recommend doing it in one sitting
No.
because at some points it does get a little bit long, and you
Mhm.
kind of feel like you're watching Billy's life in real time. Like he's we're actually growing old while we're watching this. The other warning, as I said, is if you do not like Billy Joel, or even if you do like Billy Joel, you will have Billy Joel songs in your head for weeks after you see this thing. Like they will literally inhabit your brain like a virus. Like you will not be able to get rid of them. And I mean, they're all great songs, but you'll be folding the laundry and singing New York State of Mind,
I can imagine.
you may be right, I may be crazy, but it's really well done. He's charming, and they talked to all these people about him. At one point, they talked to Elton John because he was touring with Elton John for a while. They talked to the wives. They talked to people he collaborated with, people who like him. Then they didn't like him, and now they like him again. It's a lovely portrait. It's a very lovely, loving portrait,
Mhm.
and he seems like a fascinating guy. Like you would hang out with him, kind of thing. And he's the most New Yorker. He's a Jewish kid from Long Island. Like
Yeah.
he's Billy Joel, and I think that's why people, East Coast people, and I always tell people like, okay, if you're from Long Island, it's Billy Joel. Like if you were from Jersey, it would be Springsteen. Like it's that
Yep.
kind of thing. It's really great. But I do recommend a break between the two. You know, I think I
I have to
watched
ask
part
you.
one in sections. I think I watched like half of it, and then I watched the second half, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to ask you, what's your favorite Billy Joel song?
Oh my God, that's a tough one. I mean, Piano Man is immortal. That's going to live in
Hmm.
my brain forever. New York State of Mind is amazing. I remember I was obsessed when I was a kid with the sort of '50s doo-wop song that he did.
Uptown Girl?
There was Uptown
No.
Girl and Longest Time.
Oh yeah.
Like I love that song. He's like the ultimate boomer artist kind of thing because
Hmm.
he in that time of the 80s when they were doing 50s nostalgia, he was making that music. He
Yeah.
got edgy when he needed to get edgy in the 90s. Like he like through him you see the evolution. Like there's
Of
some
music.
songs, yeah, like if you listen to like his early albums like Turnstiles and stuff like that, that is the 1970s. And for kids our age, it's kind of the soundtrack of our lives. Like
Hmm.
this is the stuff that we heard on the radio. All right, we're going to move on. What
Okay.
else you got up for us?
I have Sirens, which is on Netflix. Sirens, it's a limited series. It's streaming on Netflix. It's about these DeWitt sisters, is their last name. Devin, who's played by Megan Fahey, she was in White Lotus season two. It always comes back to Leo Woodall. She's dating Leo Woodall in real life, who was also in White Lotus season two. And Simone is the other sister, and she's played by Molly Alcock, who was in the House of the Dragon. So it's about their complex relationship. It's set against the backdrop of a wealthy elite social circle. Devin is the older sister, and she's concerned about the younger sister, Simone, getting like she has this oddly close relationship with her boss, who is played by Julianne Moore. And Julianne Moore's uh, character's name is Michaela Kell, and her husband is Peter Kell, and he's played by Kevin Bacon. Michaela, it's this, elite society. They have a beach estate on this island that was actually filmed in parts of Long Island. But they don't really say, I don't think where it is, but it kind of looks like Nantucket, like that feel to it. And it's Michaela Kell has this preservation, this sanctuary for basically for birds, for raptors that, get injured and everything. And she's a philanthropist. And the older sister is worried because it's almost like a cult. There's something very cult-like about them. And I'm I think there's 5 episodes and I'm on episode 3. I'm trying to figure out how to like describe it. There's actually a lot of funny parts, but then it's also kind of eerie. Like Julianne Moore's character has something ethereal about her and manipulative, and she seems to have a little bit of power. Like people can get like sucked into her. I got sucked in right away to this show. It's really good. Like I said, funny. There's some drama, some mystery. Definitely really enjoying it. My friends were watching it. They're like, you have to watch Sirens. You have to watch Sirens. I'm like, okay.
You succumbed to the peer pressure.
I did. It's fine.
Yeah, I watched I think I saw the trailer for that, and the second I was like, oh yeah, this is a cult. Like this girl's in a cult now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I were going to be in a cult,
yeah.
Yeah, Julianne Moore, sure. If Julianne Moore started a cult, I would be in it. Honestly, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? She's a New Yorker. She's here in the city, and she's crazy talented, and she still looks
looks
amazing.
So yeah.
And Megan Fahey, is that her name?
Yes, I had to look up how to say it. I was like, is it Fahey or yeah?
She's doing great work, and she was great in White Lotus, and she was just in a film. She was also the star of like a thriller recently too that came out earlier this year, last year. So she's doing great things, and I love who doesn't love Kevin Bacon either.
I know. I was just gonna say that.
We got a little bit more time here, so I was going to talk a little bit about Wednesday. I watched half of that. They put out like 4 episodes. I think it's going to be 8 total. I watched all 4. See, I don't know if I like this one as good as much as I liked the first season. The greatest thing though is that Wednesday Addams is paired like the Addams family property is paired with Tim Burton, and I can't think of a better marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's a weird kind of thing. It's just if you haven't seen it, I called the review. I reviewed the first season and I called it Wednesday Addams Psychic Detective. So basically, like she goes to this school for outcasts. That's basically a Hogwarts type place, and she solves murders. So that's the premise of it. Jenna Ortega is in it. I think that character is really tough because a lot of the stuff is very deadpan, and it can seem very one note. And her parents are played by Louise Guzman and Catherine Zeta-Jones, which is a really interesting pairing because of all the people I could see with Catherine Zeta-Jones, Louis Guzman is probably not it, but he plays Gomez Addams. And I don't know, there's a lot of... It deals with like a lot of creatures and things like that, and it's okay. And the way the fourth episode, like the half season ended, is like all hell breaks loose. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do for the second part. But anyway, that's not the show I wanted to talk about. The show I want to talk about is an older show that I did a rewatch of recently. Have you ever seen Mr. Robot?
No.
With Rami Malek. So this was also on Netflix. This series first came out, it ran from 2015 to 2019. So it's not like, old, but it's the show that made Remy Malek a star,
Ah,
basically.
okay.
And I just rewatched it recently, and like even though I had seen it before, I kept getting sucked back into it. So if you haven't seen it, I'll read you the IMDb description. Elliot, played by Remy Malek, he's a brilliant but unstable cybersecurity engineer and a vigilante hacker. He becomes the key figure in a complex game of global chaos when he and his shadowy allies try to take down a corrupt corporation that he is also being paid to protect. So he's working for this company, but he's like a mole from the inside. Basically, it's like that famous hacker group. I think they're called Anonymous. It's kind of like that, and it's created by a guy called Sam Ismail. It's hard to talk about it without spoiling it, or without spoiling certain aspects of it. So I'll try to be as general as possible with the spoilers. But season one, like you basically find the plot is Fight Club. It's like this group of people who are trying to destroy corporations to, like level out a society and make things even again with, and destroy the money, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. And which is, when you see it at some point, you go, oh yeah, this is just the plot of Fight Club. We also find out that Elliot is a very unreliable narrator. And he's terrific in it. Everybody in it is Christian Slater's in it, and he's terrific. If you're again, if you're a Gen X kid, you're a Christian Slater fan, playing a very different sort of character. But the script is really strong, even though it's like I actually saw one review that said the first rule of Mr. Robot is don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh, that's funny.
So because the plot was so similar, but it does, like, as the seasons go on, it does deviate a bit from that, and it does really get into the weeds, and there's like thriller aspects of it. Like there's really kind of thrilling, very like nip and tuck, like you don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to survive this? Is he going to get out of this jam? Because the police are after him, and this, the company's after him, and there's also another evil organization that ends up after them, and these people are so evil. At one point, Bobby Cannavale is in it, and he plays this really quirky character that is just menacing as hell, but also charming. Like murders people in front of you, and like there are other characters that are just like like there's this one female woman character who's part of this organization, and she's just so evil, but she looks like a nice housewife. You know what I mean? Like, so it's got a lot of appeal to it. A lot of it has to deal with psychology and getting into the mind of somebody who's not quite operating on all eight cylinders. And there are some really, like, especially toward the end, there's some really big reveals that will just, even if you've been watching the show and you're like, okay, I got it, I know what I'm doing, I got, boom, they just drop this stuff on you. You go, oh my God, that's, oh no, how's that possible? It's so, and I guess I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like, I don't remember this. This is amazing. So if you have seen it, it's worth a rewatch if you have nothing else to watch, and if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth the watch. It's on Netflix as of the time of this taping. It is on Netflix. By the time this comes out, if it's not there, please don't yell at me. It'll be somewhere else. But anyway. There's still good stuff out there, and I love talking about shows with you. And then coming up, we got a lot of film festival coverage coming up for like late September, October. So you mentioned that you finished and Just Like That, and then
I finished watching it. We haven't finished talking about it.
Okay, so
Yes.
you're still doing, as of now, you're still doing episodes on
Yes.
that, and then you're also gonna do Hard Knocks as well.
Hard Knocks, talking about the Buffalo Bills training camp.
Will you be doing the fashion of Hard Knocks?
I don't think so. I know. I was trying to like get that angle, but I don't think it's not going to work.
Oh, here's this guy in sweatsuit, a
In
sweatsuit.
sweats, and he's wearing the blue practice jersey or whatever. I mean, in the beginning they show them with their leaving their families and their wives, but the wives were wearing sweats too. So,
Yeah, I think all football wives look exactly the same.
oh God.
It's, I'm sorry,
Shame.
but they all it's like the same woman. They all marry the same, unless it's Haley Steinfeld or Taylor Swift or
Taylor
something.
Swift.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but anyway, for those people who want to find you, find your podcast, see your stuff, where can they find you online?
Okay. BTRPmedia.com. find both my podcasts there, but I have a HomeBodiesOnly.com, Made with Jackie Hanzl on YouTube, as well as all audio podcast platforms. Like I said, we got TikTok. I do have Made with Jackie Hanzl TikTok, as well as Homebodies Only. Also on Instagram, Homebodies Only. I think it's underscore pod. And also, it's not Made with Jackie Hanzl, it's Jackie and the Sticks on Instagram.
All right, very cool. I'm going to wrap up. So, thank you all out there for taking this trip down the rabbit hole. For more of our content, you can find that at norestfortheweekendpodcast.com. And you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or on the YouTubes, youtube.com/getbehindtherabbit. I'd like to thank my friend Jackie Hanzl for joining me. And for the BTRP Media Network, I'm Jason Godbey. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
This is the BTRP Media Network.